right, so we are back, and yes, I know it's a celebration, I'm here, but you can lower down the party noise, because today we're talking tag teams, and I don't mean the Hardy Boys. I mean Misfits Boxing. Now, you guys know I have been very speculative about Misfits Boxing and their tag team introduction, and as of right now, March 4th has one half of a tag team boxing match. That's right, I said tag team boxing, because that's something we do now, but it doesn't have another half, so the fight is still scheduled to go on. The opponents haven't yet been announced, the rules haven't yet been announced, and we're only a couple of weeks away from its debut, but Mams Taylor, aka Mr. Misfit, did just drop a sneak peek of what this tag team boxing thing is supposed to look like, and it's a 2023 Andrew Tate hot take on Twitter. In other words,
it's all just a simulation.
But you know me, and even if this is the first look at what tag team boxing is supposed to be, I had to break it down. And I've been very vocal about the fact that I think this is a very risky play for Misfits, for Mams Taylor. It could go really well as far as the entertainment value of it, or it could completely bottom out and drop lower than KSI did on his new Prime advert with Logan Paul.
God, bro.
Either way, we gotta take a look at this, because tag team boxing, it's a massive risk for Misfits that could become potentially a massive reward. Will it actually make sense, and can it possibly be done? Well, the breakdown. Let's go. All right, so like I said, this is Shoot Fighters Gym. All right, so we see this line right here already. It looks like it's gonna be a little box that I'm assuming Misfits Boxing is not gonna miss the opportunity to call the Prime Hydration Recovery and Tag Out and In Liquefied, Amplified, and Petrified Tag Team Zone. Saying it would make sense, but yes, that is the tag team zone. It looks like we're looking at about 140p quality, but this is Idris Virgo, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure who this individual is. Let's see how this works, man. A nice little boxing match. Idris looks like the actual real-life Adonis Creed. Boom, boom, boom. Again, they're tech sparring here, so they're not actually trying to hurt each other. It's more simulation, right, of the tag aspect of this. Walking forward. Idris got decent movement. Okay, and there's our tag. First off, I already have a problem. Number one, we see Idris go into his corner here, right? I know that this is just a simulation. They're working on a lot of things, but I got a couple problems already. And one is, does Idris have to tag out in that position? Even if he is on the ropes with his teammate there, does he automatically have to tag out because his teammate did a backslap tag? Which, again, Misfits is going into the WWE route. They should know better than anyone. It's against tag rules in pro wrestling to do so. Even though they may not be followed, actual tag teams need to be able to turn around, slap hands like Bobby Boucher would after a big play in Waterboy, and then they switch out teammates. I know I'm being a little silly here, but the reason I bring it up is because what if Idris were here and then didn't tag out, right? He just sits here and the opponent thinks, okay, because he's in that corner, now I kind of have to wait. His teammate's gonna get tagged in, referee's gonna step, whatever. But again, what if he baits out this tag here? What if he doesn't want to tag and instead rocks a big overhand on old buddy here and drops him flat because his teammate faked the tag, or faked like he was gonna touch him on the shoulder and didn't? You need to have some sort of established, like, this is how I'm going to tag, or this is the area I have to be in and I have to tag out. Because I don't know if Idris has to tag out here or if he's just standing there and his teammate gets to choose whether he wants to come in or not. So that's one of the things I think they're gonna have to work on. If you're in your specific corner, do you have to tag out? Or is there some way you can manipulate it? XYZ, I don't know. All right, there's the tag. Referee steps in and they reset. Pretty smooth transition. I'm not mad at that at all. Both guys working here, working. Goes southpaw, boom, boom. And he goes into his corner, and a referee immediately steps in. So again, I assume, and there's another backslap tag. God dang it. If we're gonna be pro wrestling, let's just at least follow that rule set. Standard tag. But again, this is my question. If he is in this little square, the tag square, because there's a lot of ways you can manipulate that if you are someone looking to play out your opponent. But that's the question I think they're gonna have to answer is, what is the rule set for when someone gets into that corner? Do they have to tag out? Do they not? Because you can manipulate that position and your opponent. If they are a little lackadaisical or relaxed because they think, okay, he has to come out, and you, like I said, step back, big right hand because there was no quote-unquote tag, you can run into some issues there. But I like the idea of having a tag zone. Referee steps in, separate the two, then we go back at it when the new opponent comes in. Here he comes. First off, these guys don't have shoes on. I don't think they're allowed to participate in any kind of tag teams, and I don't want the fungus on the bottom of their feet stepping onto my big toenail. So let's get them some shoes on, Misfits. Here comes blue shirt. Boom, immediately walks into a big left hand. Obviously, again, they're not trying to hurt each other here, but blue shirt and bikini bottom wakeboard shorts here. Walks right into a left hand. I want to see that. Oh, he walks right into another one too. Shout out big man. I think that's Derek Chisora right there. Walks him in. And see, that's the thing too. Immediately you see again the separation here. So this must mean that if he even gets close to whiffing his own corner, that referee's gonna come in. He starts separating him before there's even a tag. And again, I don't know, that could cause some problems as well because you're just maneuvering the ring at that point. What you're, I guess, saying is you only have 3/4 of the ring to use in tag team boxing. You cannot use the entirety of the ring because even when you get close to that corner, the referee's gonna jump in and separate, which isn't necessarily bad, but it is going to cause a lot of tags in a very quick fashion, which brings me to another point that we have to mention here. What is the amount of tags you can do per round, right? Is it unlimited? Because that will slow the pace of the fight. Every time someone gets to their corner, referee has to come in, separate, okay, switch tag. You can see 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9, 10 tags per round. That will slow up the pace of the fight and the intrigue of the tag team aspect. I think you do have to put a limit on it, right? It should be 3 tags per round, or at least having to be in the fight for 30 seconds or more, right? You can't just hop in 10 seconds, get rocked, okay, I'm out. Because you could do that every 10 seconds. You could do that every 5 seconds. What's the point in even trying? You could just tag in and out, tag in and out. You could just land a shot, land a jab, tag out, get your buddy in, he lands a jab, tag out. It could really get very meticulous and silly if we don't, again, have some sort of limit on what we're doing for the tags. Whether it's you have to be in for 30 seconds, limited to maybe 3 tags per round, or something like that. We need to have some sort of self-limiter here because like we've seen in these, again, it was just a simulation in 1 minute. I don't think this is how an actual fight would go. It was more so fans and Misfits could show what a preliminary kind of smooth tag would look like, even though, again, you want to have an actual tag there. But I don't actually think this is bad. I think it runs a little more smooth than I thought it would when I envisioned it in my head. And some of these guys in this little simulation are higher level boxers, so they understand how to get to their corner safely to even do something like this. Amateurs, on the other hand, and people in the influencer boxing scene may not, especially in front of a crowd with 20,000 people or whatever it is screaming at them and not remembering where their corner is. Maybe they go to the neutral corner looking for a tag, or forget the rules, or forget how long they're supposed to be in there. There's just a lot of things they're gonna have to condense into a small time frame, which again, they can do, but it's gonna have its flaws, especially this first one. Seeing as we don't have opponents for Los Pineda Coladas, which I will say is a great name. B-Dave and Luis Pineda, they don't have opponents, so this fight hasn't really been gone over, and even B-Dave himself said he didn't know the rules to this thing when he was asked, so they need to try to put the wheels in place here to really get this thing going, and I think there's potential. I think it really can be a fun thing if you don't involve crazy bad matchups, or one guy is far bigger and in a different weight class than even his tag team partner, let alone the other 2 people on the other side of the ring, or experience level. You can't have a guy like Idris tagging with even a guy like KSI or any of the influencers, and then having 2 influencers on the other side of things, or even 1 boxer and 1 influencer, because you're bound to have cross-matching. And yes, I just scissored myself on camera. You're gonna have to cut down on some of the tags, or make sure that there's a way that the crowd can get invested into each tag. One of the biggest things in pro wrestling is called the hot tag, right? Where someone's getting beat up and thrown around and slammed down, where the baby faces or the good guys are getting beat up by the bad guys. The crowd is trying to get behind the good guys to make the tag so that the fresh teammate can come in and run wild on everyone. That is one of the biggest components of tag team wrestling. You could have something similar here with boxing, but again, it's a real sport if it can be done safely, and if they can iron out a couple of these kinks. I'd be interested in seeing something like this because of the potential matchups involved. I already got flamed on Twitter for a take I'm going to stand by, that KSI and Logan do not beat Saul Poppy and Sensei if it is a skill for skill matchup. But also there's other matchups that can be made here and some different things that we can absolutely do. So Ams is always saying Misfits has something for everyone, and this proves that point if it's done right? You will have your influencer boxing one-on-ones. You will have apparently your pro boxing in the form of $1 million tournament, and then for the entertainment side of things and something a little bit further out there, you will have stuff like this tag team, which again, the variety that you get with Misfits is something I think is pretty dope. It isn't just one steady thing. There's a lot of different things you can latch onto and say, that's why I watch Misfits. That is why I watch influencer boxing. I'm not too mad at that. I just want to make sure it's done right. So you guys let me know down below. Is Misfits doing the right thing here with tag team boxing? And even if the intentions are good, is this thing going to work? Because if it doesn't, you could just scrap it and move on. That's fine. But if it does, they have just created a whole new lane into influencer boxing. See, I don't have those answers, and we're only a couple of weeks away from the first test run. So put on your hard hats, buckle your seatbelts, and find a way to replace whoever's driving the car with a crash test dummy, because this is going to be pure chaos. And whatever happens on the night, I guess we'll find out.